Hey guys, Goon here and welcome to another video on Diablo 4. This is my first victory against Uber Lilith, which I was particularly proud of. So now I'm going to tell you how to defeat her after months and months of trying. Obviously the build is the key factor, and you obviously can't do this without having a very good build. But then after you've got the build, which we can talk about during the video, you can always look at the mechanics, and this video displays them very well. So without further ado, let's have a little look.
Okay, so we're going to have a look at the build first and see what we think. I've been using the MaxRollGG website in order to build my character. This is the Bone Spirit Necromancer. So here we have the Harlequin crest. You can see its attributes are unchangeable, but you can obviously temper and master, well, excuse me, you can't temper it, but you can master work it so that you get some improvements. Now obviously this isn't perfect. I would have preferred to have not had the master work affix on armor, because at this point, as you can see, I'm above the cap and I don't need any extra armor, but I didn't have the necessary neath iron in order to rework it, and so I just went with what I had. Next we've got the Primal Breastplate of Hardened Bones. That's a 25% damage reduction off the aspect. The key factor here is that you need to increase Macabre skills and essence per second. Maximum life is obviously a bonus, but it's not the most important one. The increase in size on your corpse tendrils is very significant for other missions like the pit or infernal hordes, but it's not important really for bosses because you're going to get up close and personal. The gloves are the primal gauntlets of grasping veins. Obviously this increases your critical strike chance and the damage that you deal on the critical strike, and that one's maxed out. You want to increase your core skills and your critical strike chance with these items. The Blood Moon breeches are central to the build. As you can see, I do not have a perfect one. I only have 138% on the overpower damage and low curse skills, but this is the best one I've had so far, and I decided to roll with it. So we've got the Path of Tragul for the boots. They increase your movement speed and your bone prison cooldown, your bone skills, and it traps in a larger area, which is obviously useful with regards to infernal hordes and so on. But in terms of fighting Lilith, this is fine because it gives you enough room for maneuver if you happen to target it incorrectly. Now the build suggests that you use a mace to increase your overpower damage. I didn't try because I sacrificed damage for survivability, and so I used Doombringer, which increased my maximum life by nearly 60% and increased my damage reduction. So that was the main aspect as to why I chose the Doombringer. On my offhand, I had an increase in maximum resource. Once again, you can see that none of these aspects are perfect like the MaxRollGG build suggests. And it also says that you should have Bone Splinters casting twice. Unfortunately, my tempering didn't work and I only ended up with Bone Splint Spear. So I've not actually had the best build this entire time, and I've managed to take out everything in the game at this point. The rings, I've got a Requiem Band, which increases the maximum essence by 7 per active minion. So you want to make sure your skeletons are active at all times, because your Bone Spirit is directly linked to your essence. The amount of essence you have determines how powerful the damage is. You also want to increase your Bone Spirit damage output using tempering, and the Macabre skill restores 23 in my case of my primary resource. So when you hit with the Bone Spirit, your essence should regen. My second ring has familiar aspects, affixes, and familiar aspects. It's basically two of the same ring, but the aspect on this one is 100%, 170% regeneration over 4 seconds. Which is essential in order to be able to attack with the second phase of the fight. Now, one of the main aspects of the build is the Banished Lord's Talisman. After you spend 275 of your primary resource, your next core skill is guaranteed to overpower. Your critical strikes that overpower deal 56% extra damage. So as I mentioned in the video, you need to have 275 primary resource spent when you walk into the room, so that that first hit is overpowering for sure and takes it out very, very fast. So that's the main aspect. So those are the items. You can look, and as you can see, mine are not perfect. So if yours aren't perfect, you do have a chance. Take a look at the Paragon board on the website maxrollgg.gg, and now let's get forward and see how the fight goes. Okay folks, so I'm just going to quickly talk you through what happened during the fight. So first I entered the room and activated Blood Mist so that I had corpses available to activate my corpse tendrils. As you can see, I used my Bone Prison and my Decrepify Curse in order to increase damage output. And then I hit her with the Bone Spirit, which I had prepared by using 275 essence before entering the room. So therefore I was able to use critical strikes and overpower damage up to 500 million, closer to 800 million maybe. Okay, so what you want to do in the in-between is use 275 essence and increase your regeneration by consuming corpses. Then you should be ready to take phase 2 in the same way as you did before: Blood Mist, Bone Prison, Corpse Tendrils, Decrepify and Bone Spirit. Okay, so here comes the hard part. This is where it gets tricky. The floor beneath you is going to start to cave in, but you can't stand on the other side because it is going to hurt you. So you have to wait until one side of the floor is safe and the other side crumbles, and then you can transfer from one side to the other. Okay, and at the same time you can see these balls that are flying around the room. If they hit you, then they increase your damage every time they hit you with the stacking effect that Lilith has, and she'll eventually just one-shot you because the damage will be too powerful. Ultimately, you have to keep moving, use your Blood Mist in order to avoid being hit, and transfer from one side to the other in case there's an overlap. And then once she's finished with the third section of the floor, you're just going to hit her with Bone Spirit, and that'll finish her off. And then you've done it. And congrats on the trophy, and you should get a Resplendent Spark in order to develop a Uber unique. So well done guys. Okay guys, I hope you have as much success as I did, and thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.